You guys good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, well, Mike gets this set up. You guys, what do you think about digital marketing? Any thoughts? Good, bad, and different? Scary? The way of the future? Fair? What else?
It's the way of the world anymore.
It's the way of the world. That's very fair. Absolutely. What else? How's it working for you guys in particular? Perfect. Thank you. Good, bad, and different? Not sure? I'm going to take. Are you tired? Do you need to eat? Do you need a break? You need a motivational seminar first? I'm just kidding.
Super Bowl hangover.
Super Bowl hangovers? All right, you guys. Well, today I'm going to hopefully try and uncover some of the mysteries and some of the things to avoid, as well as some of the things that we need to consider when it comes to how we position our businesses today for growth. How many of you guys are interested in growing? Raise your hands. Okay, awesome. How many of you have enough business you just want to stay where you are? All right. How many of you have an exit plan already outlined? You want to give the business to your kids? You want to sell for a big fat check and sail off into the sunset with umbrellas in your drink? Oh, see, I like her already. She's like this. It was the umbrellas in the drink. I get you. I do. Anybody have an exit plan already set? It's something we need to think about because the more clarity we have as far as what the end picture looks like, the easier it is to make decisions on where we want to go. Is that fair? Yeah. So how do consumers buy? How do you shop? So forget about being in HVAC. Forget about running a business. Go back to mom, dad. How many of your dads? Moms, homeowners. All right. Something breaks. You need something done. You want to put in a pool. You want to redo your roof. Outside of you handymen that do it all yourself, what do? What'd you say?
Google.
You Google it. Awesome. What else do you do? What is it? Word of mouth? Okay, so that's fair. So how many of you would ask for a referral? All right, and if you got a referral, what would you do next?
Research.
How would you research them? Online. What would you look for? Perfect. So this we're already there. All right, you guys. So essentially, people buy two ways. I'm gonna give you this one because you guys jumped ahead. You guys are good. Essentially, consumers buy two ways. 99% of them. They either go online, do a search, or they get a referral, and then they go online and they do a search, right? If you go to school for digital, or if you go to school for marketing today, what are they still teaching you? Any ideas? Want to have a kid in school for marketing or know somebody young? They're still teaching traditional advertising versus inbound marketing. Give me some examples of advertising. Traditional advertising. Newspaper, perfect. What else? Phone book, perfect. Yeah, you remember your dad's business. If you weren't in the phone book, you weren't a real business, right? Absolutely. What else? Radio, television. All right, so let's stick to just advertising. So forget about referrals and forget about online. You, as mom, dad, homeowner, how many of you in the last 12 months, you are not an existing client of this company, but you made a purchase because you saw a radio ad, television ad, door hanger, flyer, billboard, newspaper, magazine? You made any purchase in the last 12 months. What'd you buy?
There's a company in town, like sometimes cleans out your garbage, your can, your little brown can. They brought a flyer.
Perfect. All right. Yes, what'd you buy?
A light bulb. Some light bulbs. That I couldn't find in the store.
From what? How'd you find out about it?
I Googled apartment.
That doesn't count. You can't do Google.
Hey, stay with us, Edward.
You said
You're not. No internet. No internet. No referral. So only advertising. Traditional advertising. Anyone else? Any purchases? Usually I get a lady that's, got as seen on TV or late night shopping handbags or jewelry. Nothing. Ladies, nothing. You guys in every audience around the nation that I speak to, this is the answer. It's the same. I typically will have less than 1% of the room that raises their hand for anything that's traditional advertising. How many of you have invested in any kind of traditional advertising in the last 12 months? And this is the answer as well. Usually it's 100% of the room raises their hand and says that they've invested in traditional advertising, but less than 1% of the room says that they buy that way as a consumer. A problem with that, right? It's like you need to have a coming to Jesus meeting. Okay, that's a challenge because we're taught a lot of times. It's as a business owner, we're looking at what do our parents do, what do the competitors do. I got to do something, right? So is that kind of the feeling when it comes down to advertising, that you feel like you need to be doing something, and these are the things that are familiar? And this internet world is complicated. It's complicated, and it's also hard to pick vendors. You guys have the largest target on your back I think I've ever seen for every scam artist out there. How many of you get calls from Google directly? Raise your hands, look around. Google will never call you. That is not actually Google. I've even recorded, and I have videos online of me recording those calls when somebody calls and says, hey, I'm calling from Google CI Web Group. I've got 3 key phrases saved for you. I can put you at the top of Google. There's only 3 positions left, and I'd be happy to do that for you. When are you ready to sign up? Starts minimum cost is around $200. You've heard this. I've recorded the whole thing, brought in my tech guys, started asking them questions. I have been contacted from a handful of companies asking to remove them down because it says this is a scam. You guys also get calls from lots of directories. What kind of directories have you participated in? Yellow Pages, Home Advisor, Andy's List. Anybody paid for leads on Thumbtack? Yeah. So the challenge with this, let's say Home Advisor for instance. How many of you are on Home Advisor? You did it? It was stupid. Okay, let's skip Home Advisor. All right.
I paid them $1,000 for leads that turned into nothing. So it cost me $1,000 for like 10 people.
$1,000, right? So a lot of these companies, these lead houses that say they'll give you leads, how does the process work? You have to pay them up front, and then you get charged per lead around $70, right? And then they immediately send 3 to 5, 10 different vendors that do the exact same thing in email, and whoever calls first might get the opportunity to be on site. And if you get the opportunity to be on site, these are still shoppers that are going to compare you to everybody else because everybody shows up at their home. They all get into a what kind of war? Bidding war. And you're out the money with nothing. There's no permanent long-term impacts on your business, right? So I'm glad that you stopped. So we have to mend the wound and stop the bleeding in some instances. The challenge is, what do you do? So that's really what we're going to get into. And the first part about doing this right is the ability to say no. It's the ability to identify the 2-letter acronym I probably shouldn't say on camera, and to say no. I'm not interested. I'm not going that route. But then it's also to come up with another plan to figure out what are we going to do and to understand enough to be able to make good decisions. Challenges with websites, digital marketing is, who the heck do you pick? And how do you pick them? What questions do you ask? If you don't do this for a living, how do you even identify if it's a good vendor or not? There's a lot of good salespeople out there that don't do the work. Do you agree? Anybody had a bad experience with a digital marketing or web company? Yeah, tell me about it. Demand force? Yep, fair.
I've used Yodel. That is horrible. Town Square Interactive. Not very good.
Yodel's kind of scary because they actually give you phone numbers that they own and they recycle them to your competitors when you cancel.
Yes, and then they also lock you in the contract verbally without you even knowing.
Absolutely.
Or, I mean, it cost me $3,000 for a 3-month campaign.
Regardless of
And
any
I got
progress.
one service law.
Right.
So, yeah, YP is the same way too. You get locked in a 14-month contract.
Yellow Pages, they print big books you use for step stools, booster seats, fire starters, door holders. They don't build websites. They shouldn't build websites. I get you. Anyone else? Bad experience? I may have just said, scrap it. You know what? I'm going to do one of the, I'm going to do it in-house. I'm going to call a friend. Anyone? So there's 3 things that I recommend people always avoid. Obviously, anything that's a pop-up site. If they say it's inexpensive, it's cheap, and they're going to pop this template up for you, a lot of times it's duplicate content. It can actually get you banned from Google. If they give you phone numbers, if they say, you know what, we're going to issue you tracking numbers, just say no, because that tracking number is attached to your company's name online, and that's permanent. But when you cancel, it's reissued to someone else. But there's still a digital track record of your company's brand and that phone number with someone else picking up the phone afterwards. If they ask you to buy your domain name for you, I'm sorry. If they tell you they're going to help you and they're going to just take care of buying that domain name for you, anybody seen that? Guess who owns your website and your domain? They do. That's one of the ways that they keep you in an agreement. Okay? So there's a lot of garbage out there that you got to be really, really careful of in order to do this right. Can I read you a poem? I wrote it. Okay. It says, the digital age requires change. It's complex and different, may feel like pain. The typical advertising agencies are feeling the same, having to pretend they understand code, indexing, and Google's algorithm change. In order to stay relevant to you, they must say they understand how consumers buy and they can help you find them this way. The reality is you have to have grown up in this age. To truly compete, it's complex and changes every day. And even if you do everything right, whether they find you online or are referred from a friend, at the end of the day, the consumers will go online, do a search, and make their decision based on what everyone else has to say. It's not easy, it's not fast, it's not going away. But if you want to be in business 1,000 days from today, change with the times, and don't wait for technology to go away. Ferguson Air Cold and day and night invest in their dealers, providing more than a box of goods to sell today. They stand out from the rest, helping them live up to the test of growing your business and not getting left behind. So sit back, unwind. There's lots of new customers to find. Let's reposition your business. Let's make you top of mind. What does that mean? What do you hear in that? We're all naive when we start, myself included. Trust me, I've done what I recommend not to do, which is stay away from the triple F's, friends, family, and fools. We've all done it. We've absolutely all done it. What else? What does it mean? You guys feel like you have a choice to either participate digitally or ignore it? Technically, you have a choice. Does that choice impact your ultimate goals? It does. So on one hand, we've got to be very, very careful that you guys have a good understanding to be able to identify, stay away from the junk. And then on the other hand, we have to have a practical mindset to be able to leverage what you can use in order to truly grow your business. And I don't just mean leads. I mean becoming more operationally savvy. I mean leveraging the internet in order to grow your business, find relevant contractors, great contractors, to be able to easily grow and scale. I mean using the internet to be able to provide better customer service, long-term connections with your clients, more value. I mean using the internet in order to get your customers to start referring you more business, to buy new things from you. You can upsell them on other things as time goes on. To become more operationally efficient, to reduce redundancies, duplicate processes, things that are actually costing you money. Everything's done with either people, process, or systems. Everything works or doesn't work because of people, processes, or systems. So getting down to the nuts and bolts of how does a website play a role in all of those is going to help you ultimately change your bottom line profitability. Make sense? Awesome. So first and foremost, we've got to start with mindset. It's how you think. Everything. I can have 2 guys on the exact same corner, exact same products, exact same service, exact same price, exact same website, exact same rank. And one guy's griping, nothing works. And the other guy's like, okay, this is powerful. This is what I'm doing. I'm participating. I'm getting content going. I'm doing these things. And, I really see progress. Exact same thing, 2 different perceptions. One has blinders that prevents him from being able to contribute and to participate and to do things and to see progression. And the other one is just stuck in Never Never Land, right? So we've got to get our mind right. We have to be positive. You guys have a major, major challenge, which is seasons. For example, if I start any of your websites today, the chance of your website not going live for 8 months is really high. Why is that? We're in February. What's going to happen? 2 months.
Summertime.
Summertime happens, and then what happens to you?
Super busy.
We can't find you. You disappear. Okay? So that's real. That's real. It takes us 60 days. But I also know we're in a scary time frame, especially California, because the second that weather changes, you guys are focused on working in the business and not on the business. All of us, as a company owner, I get it. It's probably why I'm sick right now. It's because work too many hours. But all of us have to make time for this to happen. We have to make time, even during our busy season, to be able to work on the business, not just in the business, in order to have sustainable growth, continuous growth. Strategy, we've got to know where you want to go. You know, what ultimately is your goal? The challenge is most of you guys typically will sit down with the salesperson, and salesperson has a pamphlet, wares and tears and stuff that they sell. They don't do the work, so they don't actually know how anything works, or if that's what you need to work on right now. And oftentimes you guys are defensive, and you don't want to share information that's necessary for them, if you had a strategist working with you, to be able to give you the right input. Everyone in this room is different, and depending on where you are, depending on what assets you have, depending on what risks you have, depending on how many reviews, negative, good, bad, and different, or no reviews, depending on your website, the infrastructure, the core, whether it's searchable by Google, every one of you has an entirely different scenario that you're working with, which means that you also have a different series of steps that need to take place. In the HVAC and the contractor industry, usually you guys are suffering from infrastructure being a little disjointed. Infrastructure being website, local listings, reviews, social media, all of the basics that people use to evaluate your business and to determine if they want to work with you. So we're going to get into infrastructure today. You've got to have clarity as far as where you want to go and what you're willing to do to get there. You got to make a commitment. Proper planning is to understand the time frame, how long it's going to take, depending on your level of effort, resources that are applied to it. How the position of your business online matters. Is it working for you? Is it not working at all? Is it working against you? Which I've seen. Technology, that infrastructure, the framework is really important. That's why I asked for your guys' websites, so we can actually dive into them. So during this session, I'm going to explain a little bit about what to look for in a website. We're going to go to lunch at 12:30, right? And then at 12:30, you guys come back in. We're going to have a working lunch, and I'm actually going to dive into those sites, and I'm going to give you guys pointers on what to look for. So at least you're familiar with some of those things that could help you grow. Cool? All right. Ultimately, the left-hand side, we'll get there. We're not there yet, right? That's going to happen. Being able to position yourself so you're the authority in your marketplace, being able to leverage technology to increase cash or to convert time to cash, being able to utilize automation tools to manage some of those processes, like staying in touch with your clients, upselling your clients, or at least getting their interest. How many of you have a database of existing customers? Probably QuickBooks. How many of you have emails in those? Okay, how many of you are communicating with your clients via some kind of newsletter or something on an ongoing basis? Okay, so we'll get there. There's predecessors, things that have to happen first. Then ultimately conversions. And finally, the last one, which is year-round, is evaluation. In any project management course, they're going to teach you to research, plan, implement, evaluate, refine. So they always, nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. There's not a website on the planet I can't rip to shreds, including ones we built. There's always more to do. Always more to do. So we have to think like that. The simple version of this program that Ferguson at Air Cold and Day and Night have put together in conjunction with CI Web Group is pretty simple. Your website, that's where people convert. That's the first impression you have. That's like me showing up in this room. If I came in, raggedy pants and baggy shoes, and my hair was purple, and I'm from Seattle, so in Seattle I fit in, right? It's California. So that first impression matters. Next is how you get found, which is marketing. A website doesn't do anything on its own except help you convert what you send to it. But we got to market that site. We got to be able to get that site in front of those people who are already looking for it. Content. Number one most under budgeted or not budgeted for marketing activity is content, which is essentially your voice, your ability to speak. You stop talking, you stop selling, right? If you guys go into somebody's house, they ask for an estimate for installing a new air conditioning system, and you just sat there and blinked. It didn't go very far. We got to talk. And online, that's what talking is. It's content. We have to put it into a written form because that's what Google sees, that's what it crawls, that's what people see. No content, no go. And then finally, reviews. You know, what gives people a sense of trust? I promise you, it's not what you say about yourself. It's what other people say about you that matters. So a lot of times this is a huge missed opportunity because there's not a formal structure for generating reviews. There's not a formal strategy for positioning those reviews in the right place, whether it's on Google Business Listing, on your website, Yelp, or Facebook, or whatever it is. There's different mathematical reason why we would route reviews to different locations, depending on what the overall plan is and where you guys currently sit. So we'll cover that. All right. You get another poem. Content, it's currency. It's your voice online, your ability to speak. It has tags and labels so it can be filed neatly. Why? Because people want to be able to find things easily. It's endorsed by many trustworthy sources. It's been around a while, so it allows me to be resourceful. I expect to find anything I need online. I will start looking when I'm starting to unwind. You might be closed, and that's okay, because your website's still working while you sleep the night away. I personally like videos. My husband likes blogs. I'll read the reviews. He'll check the FAQs. All the technical jargon just freaks me out. Without a translator, I can't figure it out. I just want to know you care. Whatever product and service you sell, you should try wearing a disguise and seeing it through my eyes. If you can treat me like family. I will be a raving fan, of course, so don't leave without getting a review. I will surely endorse. Let's just make it easy so I don't have to click the next result. So this is show me, don't tell me. What does that mean to you, you guys? What does this mean?
I can say I'm number one or I'm the greatest or the best, all I want to, but unless there's customers telling, co-signing that, then it really means nothing.
Perfect. Would you feel that way as mom and homeowner?
Yep.
Absolutely. What else? Thoughts? How about everybody's different? Everyone's different. A lot of times we make marketing decisions based on our personal preference. It's the guy that says, you know what, I'm not doing that social media crap. I don't use it. But everybody else does. Right? There's a huge population that look at information differently. How many of you would rather read an article, a full article, over watching a 2-minute video? Raise your hand. Okay, I have one. How many of you would rather watch the 2-minute video? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you would rather check the news on Twitter or Facebook versus CNN? Raise your hand. I got about 7. CNN or Fox or whatever it is. I got about 5. Everyone is different. Did I catch the ones? Am I okay? All right. Everyone's different. So we have to be careful that our personal preferences don't keep us from marketing to an entire audience who's not just like us. All right? So this is the 12-step roadmap to achieve accelerated results. The infrastructure is covered in the program that I'm going to go over with you, Ferguson's program. Primarily, your core, everything, over the top, everything starts with your website, how well it's coded. Websites are like cars. They're just like equipment, except equipment's not pretty on the outside no matter what, really. I'll say it's like a car, right? You have the body and the paint job, how it looks, but what's your favorite car? An Audi? All right, so if you think Audi is just sexy, it's a beautiful car when you're looking at it, right? But it has a Pinto engine in it. Right? Not so much. Or the interior is trash. That's how websites are constructed. They're multiple layers. So you can have a gorgeous looking website on the outside, but if the engine is bad, thing's not going to drive. No matter how much money you spend on all these things, it won't drive. Okay? Content is the guts. That's the interior. No content, no go. Can't have a website with just pictures and code. So content's critical. How Google looks at the content. Does your content mirror exactly what a consumer is looking for in the areas that your potential customers are looking? SEO, blogging, reviews, local, social, I can keep going. Some of the things on the left-hand side, we're not there yet, right? Let's just concentrate on the infrastructure. So I'm going to jump out of here and I'm going to get into a website and just, it's really weird from a sizing standpoint. Excuse me. Just get into the nuts and bolts of a website. When you land on a website, a consumer has literally half a second to see who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you, what other people think about you, and can they go check sources to see what other people think about you. You only have a couple seconds. So second somebody comes to your site, those are immediate. That is, I wonder if I can shrink this. Okay, so the second someone comes here, they know who they are. Very quickly, they know what they do. They know how to reach them. So I can click to call. If you have a phone number on your website and you tap that button and something doesn't pop up, you just lost all your mobile traffic. Instantaneously, mobile traffic, that's one of those moments. Anybody ever done a search and you've been on your phone and you're trying to tap that number, nothing happens? Right? This is like irritating, okay? Also, they've got to know. So existing customers, they're looking to schedule service. They already have a relationship. You got to have a home for them. So something like schedule service is going to be different than a call to action that says, get an estimate. The ability to click on and go see my account to see any conversations I've had with you, any appointments I've had booked with you, any documents, proposals, warranties, any agreements, proposals that have been shared back and forth. Even better, I have some of my dealers that are now taking a picture of the filter and telling them, look, when you send your husband to the store and he forgets to buy the filter, remind him he can just go online, click on my account, he can go pull up the sizes so he can come home with that honey to-do list checked off. That client is now connected because he gave them tools, items of value. That make sense? All right. So a lot of times what happens is you will have a page on your site that says our services. So if you think about Google like a giant filing cabinet, anybody seen Bruce Almighty, the movie? Okay, so in Bruce Almighty, God is standing in this warehouse and he comes in and he said, anything you've ever thought, anything you've ever said, anything you've ever done is in this drawer, right? And the drawer flies across the entire warehouse. It's a filing cabinet. Google works identically. So if I put a page on my website and I put a label on it, just like a file called Our Services, you go into a drawer with 3.7 billion other pages. That's probably not going to help much, huh? Okay. If I put a page on my site called Air, let's do just AC. AC, 2.2 billion pages. How about air conditioning? What do we got? 503.
Let's see. Okay, I found something on the web for AC 2.0 billion. How about hair?
I actually have a slide about this. I need you to be quiet, so you have it. That's so funny. Oh, that's a really interesting article. Okay, so we have 503 million results. Now, if I say AC repair, let's go, how about West Chicago? Now I have 740,000, more reasonable. And the kinds of companies that I'm seeing, this is one of our babies over there. This is his ultimate competitor. I think he'd like to pop his tires and so forth. But this makes sense, right? We're getting into local searches. All of a sudden, a consumer that's doing that search is going to find it. So that's important. It's based on the content you have on the site, the labeling of the content, and then to move you up the ranks is backlinking. So when I get to this when I get to this website, one thing you'll notice is that there's very careful use of images as well as tools to allow the consumer to be able to stick around for a while. We got to keep them on the site. The ability to calculate what their savings is for a high efficiency system, the ability to troubleshoot their program, the ability to read reviews, to see what our clients say. Very important, right? And they actually have great videos. So these guys have done a great job about posting the signs, doing the videos, and so forth. We need to be able to give them an opportunity to apply for financing, sign up for maintenance. How many of you have a formal maintenance program? Anyone? Okay. How many of you have anything, any part of your business model that gives you residual income? Would you like to get paid on a regular basis? Would that help with cash flow? Let me say that. If I deposited a check into your account every month, would it help with cash flow? That's what a maintenance program can do. You got to understand consumers are quick and finicky to be out. If they want a new, let's say they bought a new home, and in the home inspection, the home inspector says, you got an old, I'm going to pass this. You can buy the house, but it's got a really old heating and air conditioning system. I recommend you guys get this replaced within the next couple of years. And they're like, oh, I just bought a new house. I don't really have the money for that. They're going to start looking, and they're going to look early. What else are they going to look for other than start looking early? They're going to look for financing. Absolutely. We are them. I would want financing, right? And also, if I spent $15,000, $16,000, $18,000, $22,000 on a new heating and air conditioning system, my life is busy. And if you can save me time by doing the maintenance and I don't have to think about it, and you can just deduct the money off my credit card like everyone else does, right? My cell phone company, my water delivery, my pest control guy, kind of pest, right? They all just deduct the money and they come take care of it. For me, wildly important. That's how my life works, is to make sure that those things are just taken care of. And for a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 investment, I want it taken care of. Do you have the ability to present why it needs maintenance? No different than your car gets oil changes. How good are you at it? And are they willing to give you a credit card, drop it on file, and boom, snap that? Easy enough? Okay. And then finally, when you get down to the footer of your site, lots of things are important. Making sure you have your address connected, making sure those phone numbers are click to call, making sure you have an email that is at your domain name, not Yahoo, not Hotmail, not AOL. My son says AOL's, or no, he said emails for dead people. But like 4 years ago, he said Yahoo was, which is funny. They don't understand that. The challenge, how many of you have kids that are teenagers? Younger ones? Anyone have younger kids? When you hand your younger kid an iPhone or a piece of technology, how does it make you feel? Deep breath. You guys, we're 1,000 days away from a whole new population of homeowners, of potential customers, of potential employees, of potential employers, or potential competitors. If you take my oldest one, who got to learn technology but has a heavy influence in internet marketing, if he decided he wanted to compete with me when he turns 20-something, I'd be nervous, because he's going to come with a huge following, completely connected digital network that could outperform us very quickly if he had the sense to do that. So we've got to be careful, because these guys, the little ones, don't have to learn it, right? They don't understand. They don't even know what a phone with a cord is. Okay? So, very important. All right. Now, this site has very specific pages that are geared towards getting that key phrase, which is exactly matching what a consumer wants or is searching for, onto page 1, position 1 of Google. So let me explain how this Google page works. How many of you have dibbled and dabbled in pay-per-click? Anyone? A little bit? Yeah? Successful, not successful? Blew through a lot of cash, huh? I know, I feel you. What about What about Google Maps? How many of you have an account on Google My Business or google.com/business? Anyone? Okay. And do you go get reviews on it? Is that an important part of your process?
No.
Okay. So, and then this is organic SEO. We call this the 3Gs of leads. Google AdWords, Google Maps, Google Search. These are the 3 ways you generate money online. When you guys say, this is how I shop, this is how I do my research, that's what those 3 things are. That's where your money is. There are other things that have to be taken care of in order for Google to give you a thumbs up and put you here. But ultimately, this is where your new business is. Google AdWords or pay-per-click. This is essentially, if I click on this link, I immediately am going to charge that company $4, $7, $8, $12, $2, whatever the cost per click is. The time when this is useful is when it is slow season and it's 70 degrees, the windows are rolled down, breeze is flowing through the house, right? And you're trying to generate maybe some tune-up business or maybe some new maintenance business, or maybe you have a client database, hopefully, that has a list of everyone you did repairs on that had a really old system, but they didn't buy a new one then. That's a good time to go target them. That's a great time to get the trucks out of your driveway, and you're probably going to be more willing to pay for that during a slow season to keep people working and keep them busy. The difference is, versus the pay per lead, when you pay per lead and you pay $70 like to the, Thumbtack or Home Advisor, right? You pay the $70 and then boom, they immediately give them 4 vultures to contact them all at the same time. In this environment, most people are only going to click on one ad, and they're going to fill out a form, and as long as you call them back quickly or you make it easy for them to book time with you to talk right away, like an online scheduling system, then you can typically win the business as long as all things are in alignment. So it's going to cost a lot less. In a mailer, if I was to do a mailer, the difference is I pay all this money up front to have it designed and the mailing and the shipping and postage and all of that stuff, regardless if anybody actually opens that in their trash, or opens that before they put it in their trash. How many of you actually, well, tell me this, when you go check the mail, what do you do next? At home, what is it? Trash can? Trash? Trash? Does anyone open and read all the advertisements? Any of the advertisements? Okay. So, yes? Okay. So, and I needed a 1%. You make my math work. so that's real, right? So we're doing this because we think we need to spend the money in advance. At least here, you're only spending the money if somebody actually opens it. That's how to look at that, okay? Pay-per-click, in order for it to work well, you have to have a killer landing page, totally focused on the exact search. So and you can't send them to your website because they get lost in all the stuff, traveling around looking at other pages. All right, and you need to make sure that your offers are amazing. So some kind of a call to action with an offer, a discount, promotion, a rebate, or a combination of all 3. Irresistible offers. Next one, Google Business Listing. So you guys give me a city. Let's go look at yours. AC, repair. One of your cities. All right. Easy enough. Okay, so 419,000 results. That's the competition digitally. So in order for you to make money organically, you need to be in the top 5 of 419,000. Doable, and would take about 4.5 months. Okay, so there's that. Now, when I go here, think about how a consumer is going to look at this. If you were shopping, how do you see this map? What are you going to do or not do? Which one are you not going to? And why?
Which one am I not going to go to? 3?
Out of the 3.
Well, probably based off the use, 4.2, I'll check the 4.4s first.
Okay, good. So you're looking for highest star, highest number. Perfect. What else? Okay. Absolutely. So, some key points to this. Right now, it's free to set this up here, not in Sacramento. Come back to that. It's free to set this up. If everyone searches online and they go here and they're going to make a decision, you got a free chance to win the business. Only in the city you have a physical address and you have the most, the best, and the highest frequency of reviews. If I have reviews go to Angie's List, who can see them? Angie's List members. What about Home Advisor? Home Advisor members. If I have reviews go to my Yelp account, who else is there? A bunch of other HVAC contractors, right? And you don't have a lot of control over that. You have to be careful. But here, immediately, I've got an opportunity to be in the top 3 as long as I have the best, the most frequent, and the most in quantity, number of reviews. Make sense? If I don't have a website, I'm out. If my hours show that I close at 5 o'clock and somebody's doing they're working, right, during the day. So think about it logically. They go at home, they're probably shopping or looking or trying to get care of their own stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. They finally get to taking care of their own list. If it says they're closed and somebody else says that they're open, they're going to call the one that's open. So there's lots of little logical things that when you look at it are going to make or break whether or not this works for you. Very important. Now, I'm going to show you the same thing, AC repair. Let's go Sacramento. In the digital space, never put all your eggs in one basket. Never. I have a whole host of clients here that we told them over and over again, don't put all your eggs in this basket. What's the biggest difference? What do you see different about this one versus the other one? No ads first. Okay, good. What else? Google guaranteed. These are the ads. So Google decides overnight, it popped up. They took away the organic Google Maps and they dropped up paid ads in place of Google Maps. So those companies that we told over and over and over again, please, please listen, literally called and they're like, my phone stopped ringing entirely because they were only banking on Google Maps is where they're going to drive all their business. And Google decides we're going to start doing this. We're going to start in Sacramento. It's now spread out to Concord. Now it's moving out further. So businesses are overnight literally tanking in new business and new sales. How many of you would say that you do a lot of referral business? Yeah? And do you also, if you go back to being mom, dad, homeowner, if you get a referral from somebody, you go look people up, right? So if you do nothing else, know that you could be losing your most valuable asset, which is your referral business, if you don't have a good perception online, visually don't have the bling blingy stars, or your website's a turnoff. Right out of the gate, you could even be losing that. And the challenge is we couldn't even argue it because you'd never know that they didn't call. You'll never know what kind of missed opportunities you already have, right? Because they just never called. All right? So very important. Now, we get into organic search. So we have here directories. What this shows me is that there's no really good dealers in this area that are strong enough to compete with Yellow Pages, Yelp, and so forth. Because if you remember, I showed you one, was it this one? So if you notice here, our client there is no directories on top. You can beat the directories. You absolutely can. You just have to have all the right things perfectly in harmony working for you. All right? So on here, I have directories. Sax Repair, that's an ad. It has an ad under the ad, which that is totally new. I've never seen that other than the Sacramento area that it's being tested in. And then we get into this guy, Lucked Out, Furniture Repair Sacramento. But you notice how Google highlights the terms that I'm looking for. Those terms are highlighted in the URL, which is here. They're highlighted in they're in the page title or meta title here, and they're in the description. So Google's showing you, I got to be able to crawl Braille. And if that Braille shows that you do air conditioning repair Sacramento, you can get in this drawer. If the Braille doesn't say that, you can't get in the drawer. That's where content rules. Make sense? Okay. All right. You guys want to see the Ferguson program before we go to lunch? Okay, let's jump into that. Is this helpful? Yeah? All right. So here's essentially how this works. And you guys, I've never seen anyone do this. How can I get it to show right? Okay. I've never seen this kind of a program, and I've analyzed tons and tons of different programs that are available with different distributors and manufacturers. Never seen anything like this. It's incredible. So essentially the way the Elite program works is there's 3 different plans, and it's based on your level of commitment in selling the day and night equipment products. So if you're willing to commit to doing $50,000 to $100,000 in day and night equipment sales, then your investment for this program would be $3,000 per year, and what you would get out of it is an $18,700 to $20,000 set of marketing activities. And I'll show you what those are. It's infrastructure, making sure you guys are set up to win. Next is the Elite plan, which is $100,000 to $250,000, $4,500, and you're looking at around $24,000, $25,000 in what we would normally charge a preferred dealer to be able to have that volume of services. And then Platinum Elite, $250,000 plus, and so forth. So this happens in stages. Year 1 is all infrastructure, making sure you've got a killer website built exactly per Google standards, making sure that all your local listings, which there are 70 primary local listings that you need to have perfect. Your address, your phone number, your contact information, your address, your About Us area, your categories. Those 70 local listings, which include some local or some social media sites, they include some business directories, they include some maps programs like Google Maps, Yahoo Maps, Bing Maps, and so forth. There's the top 70. If you were to go out to all 70 of them individually and try and set those up, they would each charge you between $200 and $2,500 a month in order to have a listing on each one. It's tens of thousands of dollars. We do all 70 listings and monitor reviews and a whole bunch of other stuff, which I'll show you. So that's a big deal. Your social media account, we just at least need to make sure you look like you're alive and kicking. If your website's not there yet, your content's not there yet, your local listings is not there yet, you're probably not going to want to put a lot of energy into a robust social media plan, but you should get there. You should eventually get there, okay? But that's the primary focus in year 1 is getting infrastructure, retraining some of your thoughts and behaviors and habits as far as how you think about the internet, how you utilize the internet, how you utilize your website, and so forth. Year 2, it's game on. Year 2, we're going straight after search engine results. So I have a lot of clients that signed on to the program last year. This one is one of them. So I showed you earlier, Home Performance Matters. These guys they're pretty aggressive. So they started with the program, and within about, I want to say it was probably 30, 45 days, they wound up adding on more things. So they wound up adding on more key phrases. They wound up adding on a review program, some more advanced marketing things, adding on more content. These guys are currently sitting, we started in April of 2016. Their Google rankings increase has been 2,301%. Their Bain rankings has increased 1,250%. They currently have almost 175 primary key phrases sitting on page 1. 107 of them are page 1, position 1 through 7, and this is now the primary way that they market their business. They've been able to eliminate all the other garbage. So some are a little more aggressive. You know, some want to start off with just infrastructure and get moving from there. But either way, you can't ignore it. The challenge is that every day that goes by that your website is either not coded properly, it's hurting your URL, Google's devaluing your business and your website. Every day that you're not actively and proactively trying to get reviews on those sites, your competitors are. And so time is a beast in this. We got to make sure from a time standpoint, stop, get right to it, let's get the main things in place, and then grow from there. On year three, we're doing a technology catch-up and an improvement plan. So any website you have, the life cycle for that website is about 18 to 24 months max. And even that is not accurate. We have websites that we designed and developed and launched 4 months ago, and Google released a major algorithm change called Schema for HVAC, which changes the coding of how a website is built. So even a website we built 4 months ago is already out of date. The last thing you can do is have a site that's sitting out there that's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old. So automatically, on year 3, we redeveloped the website based on all the data and the history and what's worked, what's not worked, based on the changes that Google has set forth, and based on these, how people search. 2 years ago, I was standing on stage and I was saying, you got to prepare for mobile devices. You got to prepare for wearable watches, because this is going to change how people search. And it absolutely did. 3 years ago, we were telling companies that Google is mandating a requirement, and they have a penalty attached to any website that is not responsive. It's mobile responsive. It's a way of coding a website, a certain structure that makes it reformat and shape itself on here. And this year, I'm telling you, there is an entirely new beast of how people search that we need to consider, and that's AI, or artificial intelligence. Anybody know what Google Home is, or Amazon Alexa? Yeah? Anyone have one? Yes? Do you love her? I miss her when I travel. I do. I was doing work upstairs. She wasn't there. She's like my personal assistant. It's this little device, and you can ask her anything. So I say, Alexa, lock the front doors. Alexa, turn up the heat. Alexa, turn down the heat. Alexa, turn on my media room. Alexa, turn on the projector. Alexa, find me a great pizza place. Best reviews. Alexa, find me an air conditioning contractor in Edmonds. Best reviews. She does everything. No different than, remember when I asked the question here? Siri. It's identical, but now it's in the home, and it's big. It's one of the largest technical sales on Amazon this year for Christmas, which means we have to think, when you're talking, that's a different query than when somebody's on a computer and goes in and types in a search phrase, right? Because and we all talk different, but the query is still a set of words that Google has to take those words and it has to match them up to a website and the content on that website, line them up so that you're the option. And these AI searches are also looking at reviews. It's a very, very big deal. We can't stay stagnant, because the way your customers are changing how they search, and it's changing so rapidly. Think about you guys and the way that you look for things. It's fast, and we don't even know it because we live in it, so it doesn't seem that fast. We're just adopting and evolving. But really, the rate of technology change is massive, massive, massive. So in year 3, we make sure you're in the right technology, and all the changes that have been done in the last 2 years, that's incorporated into that. Excuse me. Okay, so there's some differences in these plans depending on how aggressive you guys are in, and this is really small. So if you have a cell phone with you, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of this. Take your cell phones out and go to your text messages, and I'm going to get you. So when you get on your text message, the number you're going to text to is 44222. I have a thing here. 44222. And here's the slide that has it on it. So that's the number you're going to text to. And in the message thread, you're just going to write Ferguson. Don't put quotes, just write Ferguson, all one word. And hit send. And then it's going to send you an email back, and it's going to say, please enter your email address and we'll send you the document. So then just type your email address in there. And if anybody need help? If anyone needs help, I got people in here that can help. Okay. So just type your email, hit send, and then in your email box, you're going to get a copy of the document that shows everything that's included by level. It also has a link to sign up if you're interested and you're like, I want to do this one. Then you can sign up right there. If you have questions, you want to dive further into it, then you can also sign up for a strategy session. And then I also threw in the Ultimate HVAC Digital Marketing Guide, which is an ebook. So you'll have that in your email as well. It's a lot. You got it on yours? You're good to go? Good to go? Good to go? Right on. Left side, check. You guys? All good? You guys? All right, right on. Okay, so let me jump back in here and I'll at least give you kind of a, so I'll show you. So first thing we do is design and develop the site. After, when you guys go get your lunch and you come back in, I'm going to pull up a bunch of sites. If you don't want your site up here, I won't pull your site up here. If you want me to go over your site, I'd be happy to go over it and give you some input and advice and something to look at. But we'll look at a bunch of real life scenarios, even if I have to pull up ones off the internet in this area. And I'm going to dive in. I'm going to show you what to look for, at least from the front. So out of the gate, websites redesigned and developed. We actually design and we know what area on every single website is critical. There are certain elements that are designed you guys automatically get. You get our troubleshooting system, which serves a lot of purposes. We manage thousands of local listings and reviews for dealer websites, and we notice one of the biggest reasons you guys get negative reviews is not showing up. That's the first way to get it. And the second one is you go out on a service call and you guys change battery on a thermostat or flip a breaker and you send them a bill. People don't like that. They don't like it when you fix easy stuff and they don't have any thought in their head that it took you time to come out there, it took you time to drive, it took you gas and mileage and salaries. They don't even think about it that way. So this system, basically, it walks through and helps them identify what are some easy fixes they can do on their own. You know, did they make sure the battery's on? Did they make sure that it's set to cool? So really simple things. If this winds up solving their problem, don't think about you just lost an opportunity because it's not worth getting a negative review. I promise you that. So if it solves the problem, the system's going to say, great, glad we could help, bookmark our site, and feel free to use it again. So we've seen messages come in from people that have said, hey, cancel my appointment. I used your troubleshooter and oh my God, the breaker was off or the battery was bad. Thank you so much. I will absolutely use your business next time. And there was no communication, no contact outside of that. So getting somebody to remember who their HVAC company is, let alone bookmark an HVAC site, take up space, is very difficult, not easy. If it doesn't solve their problem, then it's going to simply tell them that you need to schedule time with one of our experts. And it walks them through. There's about 100 different variations that the system goes through to try and help them. Local listings. I encourage you guys to do this if you run your report. So if you go to ciwebgroup.com, I don't want to pop up block. Okay. If you go to our website, at the very bottom, there's a link that says free local report. Run your report and see. And if you want help, I can go over it with you. But really, we want no errors. We want 0 errors in there. So it's going to show you, and this is important. So it's going to have your web or your company name. It has to be the same all the way through. So if you've got different variations of your company name across these sites, that doesn't work because Google's not validating your business. You got to have the right address, same address, different addresses, old addresses, that hurts. Got to have the right phone number, very important. And you need to run this report. If you don't have this managed for you, you need to run it on a regular basis because that is one of the best scams for an ex-employee to snag your business. And we see it all the time where we pull up a report. I'm like, whose phone number is this? And they're like, that's not our phone number. And we'll call it, and it's somebody, your company name, your address, your business, their phone number. They have no problem answering your calls and taking care of those clients. So just do it for awareness, at least that. All right. The next thing is this scheduling system. So all of our sites have this scheduling system on it, and this is going to help you prep for the next phase of marketing. So allowing somebody to be able to come to your site. Remember, they're not coming Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And if they come after hours, we want to make sure that they have the ability to book time to speak with someone tomorrow at noon, tomorrow at 6, whatever time that they choose. So we want to reduce the number of forms that they fill out site to site to site and get them to fill out an appointment on yours and feel like they have a set appointment. Make sense? This system will remind you and the client of your appointment by sending text messages, email messages, so it helps you have less no-shows, people not there when you show up. It also keeps track of every lead, every opportunity you've ever had come to your website, in addition to your customers and your QuickBooks account. So think about marketing. As we get this stuff done, we want to get to the point where I can easily export a list of every lead and opportunity you've ever had, drop it into an email marketing system, and when it's slow, you send them out an email with a great tune-up special in preparation for summer. All the leads, all the opportunities, and the customers. So you don't ever want to let that information not get into a database, because you're just throwing away money. Make sense? Okay. All right. Let me pull this back up. Okay, so I'll cover this when we come back. That's a website, that's pages. The content that you currently have on your site will transfer it to your new site. We'll design a handful of custom sliders depending on which program you're in. We'll design custom promotional graphics that you can use on your social media sites, your website. Promos are important. You guys have manufacturers, great manufacturers, rebates and things that you guys can promote. Also, if you think about where you are having promotions, let's say you're by a bunch of schools. So if you had a promotion that was 10% off for all educators and teachers, or if you're by a fire station, 10% off for all fire, police, and so forth. Or if you're by a military base, 10% off for veterans, military, and so forth. Some kind of promotions where you're targeting an audience and you're trying to bring them in. Content writing. So we include high quality content writing for each one of these levels, a certain number of pages, to make sure that you at least have the primary pages you need to sell day and night equipment. So on the air conditioning side, you have 6 primary key phrases / services that you probably need a page for. AC repair, AC service, AC installation, AC replacement, AC maintenance, AC tune-up. Does that sound right? Same thing on the heating side. And then, of course, all of your accessory things, you need content for those too, and that would be something you guys would invest in. Make sense? Okay. CRM systems, 60, 50, 60, 70 local business listings. One of the things on the local business listings, we don't just set them up and optimize them, but we also monitor every one of them for reviews. Real time, you get notified every time you get a review. If you get a bad review, what should you do? Reply. Reply publicly. You got to reply publicly. A lot of people will say, I don't have to worry about reviews because I'm not really doing that. Just because you don't participate doesn't mean they don't. They can do that without you participating. So you need to have awareness. You need to take control of your business. You need to take control of those reviews. And every time you get a review, good, bad, or indifferent, it deserves a response. That's what's going to show people that you're a credible company. Okay, so getting notified first, you got to know that it happened. Most of the time, we're sitting blindly in our businesses, and we don't even know we have them out there. So make sure that's in place. We'll make sure your Google Business listing is set up correctly. We also, on the 2 larger packages, we auto-post the content we do for Facebook, so your Facebook marketing, and we auto-post the content to Twitter. And then search engine optimization. So remember when I showed you the organic rankings, the ones that are under the maps? So we're going to start off with a really entry level, but at least to get you going, search engine optimization plan. That way, by the time we get ready for year 2 and you guys are ready to rumble, you're familiar with it, you've got a little bit of progress, and then we can start diving into some more advanced SEO work. And then finally, Google Analytics, all your reporting. So it does no good. If you don't track it, you can't measure it. For those of you that decide to sign up for the program, our goal, and I don't we're gonna draw blood or something and do some kind of handshake, is to make sure your websites go live before you get busy. We have to, which means you got to make yourself available. Not a lot. We don't need a lot of insights, but you gotta give sign off and authorization and approvals, feedback at 4 or 5 different times during the process, and ultimately sign off on the thing going live. Plus, got to have logins and passwords to be able to go live. So that's our goal. You guys, it is 12:29. Why don't you grab lunch and then come back in and we'll get into some nuts and bolts, do some searches, and go from there. Helpful? All right, fantastic. Don't freak out. Don't stress. I don't know if there's liquor out there, but.